Hey everyone, I want to thank you all for your comments. Just wow, I'm so blown away at the response we've gotten. I'm literally just waking up. I took an afternoon nap and I quickly read some comments. So I'm just going to quickly throw this out here. Um, a lot of people are talking about martial law or the potential of the military coming in. I think if you're in the United States, that is a higher potential based on their military force. I think here in Canada, our military is just not that big. For them to come in and take everybody's guns and kind of do like a full force martial law, we just don't have that ability. I would predict something if they were going to start forcing quarantines. I would imagine to be something similar to what Italy has done, where it's a police presence and you have to have a certification that says why you're leaving your home. I kind of hope that does happen just because today I had to go. I had to go to the doctor's office and do a bunch of errands, and there were tons of people out and about still. And like, I didn't see one other person wearing a mask except for two people not in the hospital. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't think we're taking this seriously enough. But who knows? Maybe we won't even get it this bad in Canada. I don't know. Maybe it'll be a total nightmare. But either way, I'm not too worried about martial law at this point. I think there's still tons of resources and supplies coming in, and they're kind of lurching economy around. Um, a big comment that came up was what's going to happen because a lot of people can't apply for EI, businesses, what kind of financial support. This is why we need to get on our horn. And if you're at home right now, to at least send a message to your MLA and your MP, because that's a huge thing. We absolutely should be reassuring friends. So an update on my friend who had coronavirus, and it was a total nightmare getting him tested and all this kind of stuff. He's still waiting back, by the way, after our last video update on the 15th. We just kept calling 811 all day, and we finally got through and got him booked in to go do a test. And so we're still waiting to get his call back to go in and actually get tested. So, that still hasn't happened yet, and it's been 2 days, 2 days since then. But he had to take another week off because he was still coughing a little bit. So now he's like 3 weeks off work, and they just sent the notice today that his work is actually shutting down, and they kind of just fired everybody. So that's a reality. I've got my other best friend is a flight attendant. That really sucks for her right now too. So we definitely need to be pressuring our government to help people financially, because that's a big part of why people are still out and about and going to work, because we don't have any answers. Or at the very least, stop mortgage and bill payments. Because the problem then too is how do you prove who had it and who didn't have it? Like, all of us have to stay home whether we have it or not. Like, everyone just has to stop going to work and moving. So yeah, we need to be getting on the horn to our governments and saying they need to respond faster and giving Canadians some reassurance here that we are going to have our financial needs met. And then, so another big issue that came up was when my comment on finding a farmer. It's really hard for people to find farmers, and that's true. We've really been struggling to get a local food network going for a very long time, and the few CSAs that are out there can only feed so many people. It's really, really, really frustrating. So it's not like you can just pick up a phone book and go out and find a farmer, or I guess you kind of have to at this point. There is no network, and so that's what I'm talking a lot with the government about, especially here in Alberta, is creating local food networks so that this type of thing doesn't happen. So unpasteurized milk is a big hot topic right now too, and I'm a little unsure if they're going to start allowing people to do that, if they're claiming, if you're claiming that this is a life belief and under your Religious Freedoms Act. So I highly recommend that you guys reach out to Alberta Agriculture and see if you can't talk to an advocate there. They have lawyers, they have farmers advocates, and ask, like, look, I'm interested in getting these unpasteurized products. That's one way to go about it. But even for you can still get provincially inspected meat and all kinds of stuff from local farmers that meet all the provincial requirements as well. And so there's lots of places, like, you just have to kind of get on some of the Facebook groups and source and start talking to different farmers. And we all know each other, right? All of us farmers know each other, and we know each other's products. So get in touch with some of us and we'll start helping you find products that are close. They are starting to make changes in terms of if you can have a chicken in your backyard and stuff like that in Calgary, which is, it needs to happen. And that's good that that's happening. But for people who have like very serious food allergies, and I'm sorry that you've been laughed at. There was one lady who was saying that her family have had allergies to the antibiotics in meat, and she's been laughed at for that. And I will tell you right now, it's absolutely true. How do I know that? I know that because I pick up a lot of waste meat from grocery stores that gets, we render it into dog food. And I've got 10 dogs. And I will tell you right now that some of the chicken that they're eating and some of the stuff that all of a sudden all 10 dogs break out in hives, their hair will fall off in big patches, they'll get bald spots, and it's absolutely from the food that's coming through. So there's two different types of plants. There's your CFIA provincially, or your CFIA, Canada Food Inspection Agency plant, and there's your provincial plant. And the thing with the provincial plants is they're a lot smaller. They still go through, there's a meat inspector there. Everything's done. They're clean facilities, all this kind of stuff. But what you're not dealing with is you don't have animals that have come all the way across country, or like the one CFIA plant here in south of Calgary is doing like 4,500 head of cows a day, and they're just getting pumped into this plant. They only test maybe 4 or 5 of them. And so the problem with that is you have no idea how many diseases have come through. And because these are animals that are coming out of feedlots that have all been living in close conditions, that have all been eating high grain diet, so not what their bodies are meant to be digesting, they really aren't as healthy as like a grass-fed animal. And while they're only getting like trace amounts of the antibiotics, if they're only testing 1 in 4, or 4 in 4,000, how do you really know what, like, who's gotten what, right? And what you're getting? And then again, the chemicals that are in the plants, like they're spraying chemicals on everything constantly because they have to try to keep the bacteria and the superbugs in check. But you're getting superbugs in those types of facilities. Same with when the chickens come through, all that kind of stuff. That's how superbugs are formed. So it's not the small farms that are creating superbugs. It's the really big feedlot type operations where everything is living close in a really unnatural setting. That's not normal. And that's where you start to get these bacteria and viruses taking over. And that's where we see major quarantine procedures. So if you want to see what a real quarantine procedure looks like to actually contain a virus, look at the big mass production livestock operations, because those guys are wearing white suits and full like rubber and boot washes and a clean room before you go in, and they're logging in and out, and like that foot wash station, all their chemicals are getting changed on regularly. They do not let visitors come and go. It's like big business for them, right? So that's what quarantine action looks like. And that's what I'm talking about when I say like we are definitely not addressing quarantine, like disease mitigation properly the way we should be, because I've seen firsthand what it's like to control a virus. We're not doing it. So I guess that's where I'm coming from. I know from the poor medical staff. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's my heart goes out to them. They're working so hard. Our system was not designed to handle anything like this. Our system's for like the regular care and maintenance of Albertans, not for massive pandemics. And even though they're trying, this is a big learning thing. So we do have to be patient with the fact that 811 is difficult to get through. Tests are difficult. The numbers are not reliable, all that kind of stuff. I'm not trying to be critical. This is the reality. I'm just trying to say, don't fall into the idea that the numbers are few and low, and so we don't need to worry about it. We absolutely should be worrying as Albertans. So I just hope that makes everyone feel a little bit better. Oh, again, and just really sorry for that one family. I went on this tangent about antibiotics in meat and didn't give them a solution. So I raise animals without antibiotics. There are lots of places in Alberta that do. There's so many here. Unfortunately, a lot of us end up selling to the big plants, and that's where they get the antibiotics. So if you catch it in the supply chain early on, if you talk directly to us, we can hook you up with super nutritious, super healthy meat that's not going to have any of that stuff. It can all still be provincially inspected, so it can all still go to the smaller plant, where they're testing and they're looking and they're making sure, and it's being processed by professional slaughterers and meat handlers and butchers and all that kind of stuff. So that it's like a clean facility, it's just not going to have the type of antibiotics that you're worried about. So for your family that's like crazy overwhelmed right now, oftentimes, so this is what helped us. We kind of went through the same thing last summer. We learned about a diet. It's a therapeutic diet. It's not a weight loss diet. It's a therapeutic diet for your body to kind of help your body reset. It's called the GAPS diet, and it stands for like gastrointestinal something. I don't know. The concept is that all the processed food, everything we're eating has these chemical residues in it and antibiotics and all kinds of stuff that is throwing off our gut flora and our microbiome. And that is causing our bodies to overreact and have huge inflammation. And that's where you start to see arthritis is showing up. And that's where you start to see celiac disease show up. And that's where you start to see major allergies show up. It's because our body is in a constant state of inflammation and overreacting and attacking itself. Whoa. So we went on the GAPS diet and we just let our bodies chill out and just went on this really nice therapeutic diet. It's really gentle on your gut. It sucks because it's kind of hard. It's hard at first. And then once we started to slowly build off of the GAPS diet, and our body calmed down, and as we started reintroducing foods, we could figure out like, wow, okay, that kind of food is not cool with my body. Our bodies reacted right away. And so we could start to eliminate things from our diet that we knew weren't very good for us. So, and everyone's going to be a little bit different, but really, it's really going to be about like bringing our bodies down, letting the inflammation calm down and that whole thing, and then starting to find and build nutritious food. So it is hard. It's absolutely difficult. And so that's why a lot of people are criticizing, like when we say like, you get the big GMO, not just GMO, but the big agrochemical farmers, because they're trying to do mass food production. But the reality, and they'll say like, oh, well, we're feeding the world. The reality is we're not feeding the world. A lot of these like over processed things are not nutritious and they're not healthy, and lots of people are still starving on this planet and all that kind of stuff. So we need to like look at the way we're redoing stuff. It's starting to take off and there's momentum coming, but it's really hard. There's a lot of regulations for small farmers like myself, which I can talk to about later. So for right now, I suggest contacting Alberta Agriculture first and hearing it straight from their mouth, because these regulations have been changing a lot in the last little while about food, especially around the unpasteurized milk thing. So I would kind of sit down and I'd really push like, this is a belief, this is what I want, da 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 da. And you can talk to them that way. I know some people have actually gone as far as like buying a goat from a certain farmer, and then they'll come and like milk their own goat at a farmer because they're not allowed to have one in the city. I know the city of Calgary is now allowing for therapy animals, but I'm a little concerned about that because, again, we don't know about disease transmission. Yeah, so there's that. I've got 4 petitions on the go right now surrounding local food and trying to get local food more accessible into urban centers and stuff like that, into big cities, because it's really, really hard. We don't have that network. So if you guys are interested in that, ever signing one of the petitions, let me know. I'd be happy to meet with you somewhere to get your signature on it. All right, I hope that helps, and I'll put a more cohesive kind of thing together. I just wanted to let you know that I did hear your comments, and just to give you the long short answer of it, that's where we're at, what I'm thinking. Okay,